All right, if you have made it this far, it is day 26 of my Hypersomnia video diary. And today, I kind of put together 5 different types of tricks and tools to help me stay awake. And I thought I would share this with other people. Maybe you already use these, maybe you don't. So, and maybe if you don't have hypersomnia and you're watching this, you'll wonder why we're doing this sometimes. But, pardon me. These are my different core types of tricks and tools. So the first is inspire or try to inspire the release of dopamine in your brain. So that's going to a brand new place, have a deep conversation with a family member, friend, or loved one, learn something new about something you love, get inspired by something, listen to a new song from your favorite band, watch a movie that is really funny and possibly emotionally deep, and then lastly, it would be supplement. So find some sort of, legal, herbal, over-the-counter supplement that helps, is dopamine or a dopamine precursor, and I'll get into that a little bit later. Next is adrenaline. So getting scared, anticipating something very exciting, causing self-discomfort. So that would be like, grab your finger and just like pinch the end of it really hard. It sounds stupid, but what that does in your brain is it releases norepinephrine, which is adrenaline, and that adrenaline helps you to stay awake. It's your fight or flight chemical. It also is released just during your normal wakeful day. Sorry about that. Supplements, again, for adrenaline, and excuse me. I'll get into that again a little bit later, but you can supplement and you can take supplements that will, help your body release norepinephrine or adrenaline. Number 3, Induce ADD. So self-induce your own ADD. And I know that sounds crazy, but because what this does honestly is it releases dopamine and and possibly norepinephrine. But so what I mean by self-induced ADD is, look around, keep changing your stimulus. If you're listening to music, keep changing, keep looking for new music or something, or get up, move around. If you're in the living room, go to the bedroom, then only stay there for a few minutes, and then go, somewhere else, and then go for a walk outside. Some of these will kind of overlap too, but so, keep changing what you're doing or what you're looking at too. So, in the event that you were driving or something, you just keep moving your head around, keep looking at something new. Because what that does, like I mentioned, is release the dopamine and potentially the norepinephrine. Number 4, all these kind of relate back to 1 and 2 generally, but number 4 is keep moving. Breathe more, breathe deeper, get up, stretch, walk, carry something, move something, jump up and down, run, chew gum, eat. Tap your fingers, tap your feet. Pardon me. Just keep moving around. That releases the norepinephrine and also dopamine, and it's like a stimulant for your body. And again, like I mentioned, all these things are temporary. Like you can't just keep moving around or whatever like all the time. And then lastly is supplements. So those would be, legal stimulants, herbs, things like ginseng, caffeine, things that, have caffeine like soda, tea, Red Bulls, Monsters, energy pills, herbal blend pills, also alcohol, nicotine, sativa, marijuana, L-tyrosine, phenylalanine, L-dopa, and norepinephrine. So those are some supplements, and typically legal, or minus the alcohol if you're underage, nicotine if you're underage, marijuana if it's not legal in your area or country. But L-tyrosine, phenylalanine, L-dopa, and norepinephrine are most likely legal. Norepinephrine would probably be the only regulated one there. So those are the 5 groups of tricks and tools. And now I'm going to tell you how those would apply to things like common situations, like just being at home, being at work, or driving. And you can use these. They overlap. Pardon me. They overlap, but you could use these things interchangeably, and some will work for at home, some will work for when you're driving, some won't. But so before I get into how you're going to use dopamine things and adrenaline things and ADD like things and moving things when you're doing or when you're at home or driving or at work, I just wanted to go over the last category, which is the supplements one. So supplements, legal, stimulants, herbs, obviously this applies to all of the other 4 categories and situations. You could always take a supplement or a legal stimulant or herb or whatever to enhance any of those. Sorry. To improve your wakefulness in any of those other categories I mentioned. But whether these stimulate your brain enough temporarily, or whether it's a placebo effect, is sometimes left to be said. But it just kind of depends on your body that if these things will work for you or not. And all these things have, the 4 that I'm going to mention are phenylalanine, L-tyrosine, L-dopa, and norepinephrine. Specifically, I can comment on phenylalanine, L-dopa, and norepinephrine. L-tyrosine I've only ever had in like an energy pill, or some sort of legal metabolism supplement. But the supplements you can take in any of the the situations that I mentioned, whether you're at home, work, or driving. So I'm just gonna knock these out really quick, and then I'll go into the other situational ones of how you can induce ADD and the moving ones and things like that. All right, so first off, phenylalanine. I mentioned phenylalanine in an earlier video. I don't remember which one right now, but I'll bring it up right here. Hopefully this is legal and isn't given like some sort of. I'm no way affiliated with 5 Gum, which I think is made by Wrigley's or whatever. But if you can, let me see if I can get it up here really quick. So let's see. It's going to be hard to see. I don't think I can. I'd have to adjust the camera too much. But what this says in bold here down at the bottom is phenylneutronics contains phenylalanine. Just so you know, phenylalanine is a precursor to a lot of neurotransmitters, and the primary ones being dopamine, norepinephrine, and epinephrine. Norepinephrine and epinephrine essentially do the same thing in your brain, but they are 2 different chemicals. But so phenylalanine is a precursor to that, and I mentioned before in another video that sometimes I found that chewing gum with phenylalanine helps keep me awake. And again, that could be due to the fact that I'm just moving and doing something. But I honestly have felt that something there, like randomly, I guess. My apologies. Too many bongs or something. Yeah. So so there you go. So phenylalanine. I've gone into nutrition stores and vitamin stores and GNC and things like that, and the vitamin shop, and I've looked for phenylalanine. Phenylalanine you cannot buy, that I could find, over the counter as a supplement, and I think that's because it's extremely close to being phenylalanine, which is then actually used, which is almost amphetamine. So I think it could be chemically converted very easily into being amphetamine. I think that's why you can't buy that over the counter, but that's an assumption of mine, just from a little bit of research. So the next one, which I mentioned, which I have really no experience with other than seeing it in energy pills and energy drinks, is the L-tyrosine. But in looking that up, it's a standard amino acid, but it's used to help synthesize proteins. That's used to help synthesize proteins, but it's also a precursor for dopamine. So things that are high in L-tyrosine or tyrosine actually, or have the potential to help your body produce and release more dopamine. Number 3 in that one is dopamine. You can get dopamine by going to the vitamin shop or GNC or a supplement, vitamin store. You can get it in the form of L-Dopa, which is levodopamine. You can. I've taken this. I've tried this supplement before, and I feel like potentially there was a little bit of extra wakefulness from taking it. I had to take like the full dose per day, and it was very inconsistent. And that's what I say sometimes with the supplements. Maybe it's just a placebo effect, but dopamine, it plays a huge role in motivation, motor control, alertness, things like that. So eating things with dopamine, or that it potentially help your body create or produce dopamine or convert it, or potentially will help you stay awake, maybe just a little bit. I'm not gonna bullshit you. It kind of works, kind of mostly doesn't. That's what a lot of these things are. So 4th on that list, norepinephrine. So norepinephrine, the general function of it is to mobilize the body and brain for action. Interestingly, the direct precursor of norepinephrine is dopamine, which is synthesized from phenylalanine, and that's kind of why I mentioned all 4 of these. So phenylalanine is converted from your body into L-tyrosine, and then L-tyrosine becomes dopamine, which becomes norepinephrine, and dopamine also goes off and does its own thing. It doesn't always get converted, but so again, taking supplements and things that are high or include phenylalanine, L-tyrosine, dopamine, or norepinephrine could potentially help you stay awake longer. One last note on norepinephrine. Norepinephrine is highly regulated now in the United States because of the meth crisis, and that makes it harder to obtain norepinephrine. You used to be able to get ephedrine, which is essentially which would break down into norepinephrine, but you cannot anymore. But if you go to your pharmacist, it's over the counter, but you have to request it from your pharmacist. You can ask for cold medicine that contains norepinephrine in a much higher milligram that's available than what you're just going to buy in whatever packet or whatever whatever box of, cold medicine you buy. I know this sounds funny, but you can buy, what I'm trying to get to is you can just buy norepinephrine from the pharmacist. I think it's like 15 or 30 milligram pills. Just to comment, my experience with this is, yes, it makes you a little bit more awake if you take it, but the problem is that norepinephrine is your fight or flight, your adrenaline. It's more of a although it helps you in being awake, I feel like when you take those pills, you're more like stressed out, kind of like it's not comfortable awake. It's like just a stressed out awake. And yeah, I don't know. And I mean, it's just not a comfortable feeling. But and then again, it may work for you, and it has helped me before stay awake just a little bit more. It felt like. Okay, so now that there, again, those 5 categories of, tricks and tools are things that release dopamine, things that release adrenaline, things that induce ADD, and keep moving, and then supplements, which we just covered, and I'm not going to talk about anymore. So how do you use these things at home? At home, get up, take a walk, open the blinds, all the windows, get fresh air if possible, if it's not too cold, if you can do it. Or if it's cold, go stand outside in the cold for a little bit. Cook something that you need to follow a recipe for, or that is very intricate and has many steps. That will help release the dopamine in your brain and like keep you kind of energized from having to follow this step-by-step task. And especially if it's something new, you're more likely to it's more likely to help you be awake. Repair something in your house, something intricate, like change out some computer parts, completely repair or change up a lighting fixture, or install shelving, put together some IKEA furniture, because God knows that is a lot of steps and takes forever to do. So that should help you. And then again, it's rewarding at the end, so you get some dopamine there. Rearrange furniture, rearrange the whole layout of your house. Listen to music loud, clean. Just don't lay or sit down. Doing that is when you're going to fall asleep, and that's the problem. Is no one can keep moving, all throughout the day, all the time, especially when you're tired. But those would be the things that I would suggest doing while you're home. So let's go on to at work. If possible, listen to music, fast, intense music on headphones, and turn it up loud if possible. Get up and take little mini breaks that don't get you in trouble. Just kind of walk around, go to the bathroom, get some water, get some ice cold water, chew on some ice, get a snack, talk to, a coworker, stretch out, work on a task, and switch as soon as you get tired if you can. Eat things that require work. So, and what I mean by that, it sounds funny, but honestly, eat shelled peanuts, eat pistachios, eat sunflower seeds, a pomegranate, things that you have to think about and break apart, and you have to keep doing stuff, and it's very stimulating, for your mouth and your mind, and so let's move on. Chew gum. You could do that at home too. Just want to throw that in. Like I said, the phenylalanine gum, I believe, is a little bit of something. If you have a break, and if possible, and if it helps you, take a nap. Tap your feet and your fingers like you're drumming, or you're like moving to a beat. Kind of like move around in your chair as much as you possibly can. And like I mentioned, if you can get up and walk around, do that as much as possible without it interfering with your work, or causing people to question what you're doing. So on to driving. Listen to fast, intense, loud music. Roll down the windows. Get fresh air. Turn off the heat if possible. Heat generally like relaxes your body and makes you more tired. Again, chew gum, tap your feet and fingers, again, like you're drumming. Move in your seat as much as you possibly can. Readjust, check your mirrors. Keep checking your rear view, your side view, in front of you, your speed. And if all else fails, just start thinking of your family and your life, and just getting to your destination safe. What I found is, if all else fails, if you're so extremely tired and you have to stay awake, just because it's so important, maybe because you're at work, or because you're driving, or you're at something, an important event, use fear. Use fear as much as you possibly can. Be afraid of, if you're driving, be afraid of dying. Be afraid of, not making it to your destination. So, that fear will release adrenaline. Be afraid of getting fired at work. Think about that. And it sucks to have to say that and to have to use fear sometimes, but these are the only tools you have to fight it, because these are your own natural body, reactions and, defenses. So, that's where I'm going to end this video tonight. And I hope this was informative, and, anyone has any questions, comments, or other tricks and tips that they have or that they use and want to share, please do. Otherwise, have a wonderful evening, and tomorrow will be day 27. I think I just want to end with, I'm definitely down to, my last 5 pills, I think, and I'm just going to try to be as positive as possible. So that's it. All right. Have a good night.